He cheated on me with his cousin. No, let's begin. Hey beautiful, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, hi, my name is Alexis Jayda and welcome. Today's video is going to be a little bit different with my story times. I'm going to be reading your guys' story times. I do have an email if you guys want me to read your story time next. It is youcantellalexis@gmail.com. I will go through the stories and yours could possibly be picked. So sit back, relax, and let's chismear. Let's give some FAMBAM advice. I am going to apply some new makeup. I'm so freaking excited, you guys. You guys know I love my caquita shades. Ooh, look how beautiful. I can't wait. So sit back, relax. Let me know what you guys are doing. If you guys are cooking, what are you guys cooking? If you're watching me with somebody, who are you watching me with? If you're driving somewhere, where are you driving? All that, let me know down below. If you want to be part of the notification squad, all you have to do is just like the video, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment down below, and you can be part of the notification squad. So let's get into it. I haven't done one of these in a long time. I don't have no excuses, and I'm so sorry. So I'm going to be reading and applying my makeup. With story time, they are going to be anonymous unless you say, you know, like, please say my name in here, then I got you. But other than that, they will be anonymous. First, Lynn. First, look how pretty this palette is. Oh my god, look at it. Ooh, look at it. Hey Alexis, the question I'm going to ask you has been something that has been sitting heavily inside. And I just want to know, why do we have these type of friends? The ones that are your friends but love finding the drama and nitpicking whatever you post on social media and goes off telling others your business. Recently, I posted one of those statuses where you pretend something happened, but once you scroll to the bottom, it'll say, haha, you fell for it. I fell for those a couple of times, I'm not gonna lie. I'd be mad as hell midway about to say something, and then yeah. Now go repost to see others' reaction. I see nothing wrong with it, because there's not. It's funny. It's not that deep, but okay, haha, you fell for it. Now go repost to see others' reaction. I see nothing wrong with it, but my husband texts me to delete it because people are going to talk. And honestly, I don't care. I always told him, you can't satisfy everyone, period. And people always talk regardless. So who cares? Exactly. Who cares? He then screenshot me a convo him and his buddy had, saying the group of friends I have were already talking about what I post. And I just don't get it. I don't get what the memes and stuff has to do with them. Please give me some advice. Love you. I love you too. Okay, first of all, I'm gonna say this with love. Any advice that I give y'all, I always say it with love. I never want y'all to feel like I am being mean, you know? First of all, why does your husband care what others are saying if you already told him, like, oh, it's about this? And if he's like, oh, I'm too old for that cheese, man, blah, 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 blah. You're having fun on your social media. It ain't that deep. And if it is, they should take it up with you. And if they're going to be gossiping and talking and stuff, that's their problem. And your man shouldn't have to be like, oh, don't post that because this, because of that. Then they should have read it all. You know what I mean? They're lucky that you didn't say, this is for Barbara, this is for Danny, it's a joke, take a chill pill. Like, what's up with that? It's never that deep. And if they feel some way, if the shoe fit, lace it up and wear it and get the fuck out of my face. Like, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with people? I hate those type of people where they always think like it's for them. If a post affects you that much and you're getting so upset, then obviously it hits you and it's affecting you because there's some truth in it that is for you. I swear. Sometimes people want to wear the shoe so bad, even if it's not for them. So bad. It's not your size, babe. Keep it moving. Keep it moving. Keep it moving. Keep it moving. Like, it's never that serious, and that's really annoying. I used to have that problem with my grandma too, where she would think that anytime I posted something, like, let's say, whether it be negative, she really thought it was for her. She literally thought I was talking to her. No, I wasn't. And it would be an argument because I would have to tell her, like, it's not for you. She's like, no, you posted it for me. Or my brothers would be posting a picture and they're literally like, you know, and she's like, your brothers flipped me off. And no, it's not for you. If you're not tagged in it, if I didn't post it on your, it's not for you. So we would argue, you know. But the husband situation, babe, I would just talk to him and let him know it is not that serious. And if it is, unfriend me. Unfriend me. If you're that offended and you're looking at my memes and you're taking it some way, unfriend me please, because that's just annoying. You shouldn't have to censor what you post. And there's sometimes people post some memes and you're like, that's not funny. Unfriend them. It really did. Or if you don't want to unfriend them because you don't want to offend them, snooze them. There's so many things that you can do with social media now that is crazy. You can hide their posts, you can snooze them, or unfriend them. It's crazy. I would take it up with your mans, babe. Let him know. What's your problem? Honestly, like, who cares? Who cares? What kind of shit is that? Delete it. Hey Lex, I just wanted to start off by saying I love you and your videos, and I'm so happy you created an email for us FAMBAMs to share with you. Yeah. I'm 23 and I'm from Philadelphia. Girl, my life is like a novela. Relatable. If I could write a book about it, I think I would have at least more than 100 pages for the first 23 chapters of my life. I would love to share all my story times with you, but I have one in particular, which I apologize now because this is a long story. It's okay. We love long stories. I love to give you every detail like you do on your story times. This story time has to do with my daughter's father, which we will name him Basura, which means garbage. Just a little backstory before we get into the juicy parts. Basura and I had a one night of intimacy, and 9 months later I gave birth to my baby girl. Okay, quick side note. For the FAMBAM who it's a one and boom, y'all need to play the lottery. What are the odds? What are the odds? Like, what are the odds? Like, when you really be like tracking, like when you ovulating and stuff like that, it's like really crazy. There is like this amount of window. That's crazy. Anyways, in 9 months, I gave birth to my baby girl, which he did not know about because I wanted to protect my baby since he was into some straight things. I know, Lex. Why did I even keep my baby a secret for him? I told Basura about our baby, which he laughed because he thought it was a joke. But later, he started coming around, but not so often. I know I was in the wrong and suggested a DNA test so he wouldn't think I was lying, but he refused because his mother even insisted that the baby was his. Ooh. I was in an abusive relationship at the time with someone else for about 2 years, and I finally called it quits as I could not put myself or both my children through this. I moved back with my mom to start a new life. A couple of days later, I received a call from Basura's mother to check up on me and my kids. She then asked if I was single. Lex, I'm pretty sure you know where this is going. Laugh aloud. I replied yes. Then she suggested for me and her son to try and make it work for the sake of our baby. FYI, his mother loved me and she did not want him to be with anyone else because she thought I can change him for the better. I know, Lex, red flag. But then I thought about it, and all I wanted was to have a happy family and just be loved because what I went through with my abusive relationship. Mind you, he was still incarcerated. I'm trying not to judge right now, fam. I let her give my number to him so he can give me a call. A few days later, he called me and we talked for a few minutes. As you know, you have to pay for the minutes, and it was a call from jail. Yes. I would put about $50 for calls so we can talk for a while. Girl, I was spending bread on those calls. Then we would send each other some letters and he would be so sweet to me, sending me a cute drawing saying I love you. I was in the puppy dog stage. I would even put money on his books. Then I would go visit him with our daughter so he can see her. I would travel down there on bus, and it was hectic with the baby that was just a couple of months old. I was doing a lot for this man. He was incarcerated for 9 months, and for all those months I was celibate. As I would go see him, he would tend to act different. He wouldn't give me a kiss or anything. Huge flag. She didn't say that, I did, but that's a huge red flag. I thought maybe because he was not allowed. One day I wanted to see him without telling him. Mind you, he only had a 30-minute visit. Once I got there, the officer in front told me that he was not allowed because someone already came to see him, and I was so confused, girl. Once I got back home, I called him and I told him what happened, and then he replied saying his sisters came to see him. I shrugged it off because I didn't think he was lying, and he was close with his sisters. At the time, I was working with his mom at a dental place for a few months. One day I go on break and I was confused on why he didn't call me. Damn, girl, so you working with his mama, like you in the relationship. I came back from my break and there he was standing there on his phone. My heart dropped to my culo. We couldn't do anything because no one could know I was the mother of my boss's son child. But once I clocked out, he did not text me, call me, or anything. He was on his Instagram posting he was home. Ooh, I would have been livid. I even tagged him on the story saying that he was home. Did he take knowledge of that? No. I was baffled. I texted him on Instagram stating how I felt, and all he could say was that he was busy because everyone wanted to see him. Oh. Am I tripping for feeling like he abandoned me? No. He's stupid. No. So bold. 9 months. Traveled from and to, and he had his baby. Everyone is excited that he is home, but I felt as though he should have at least acknowledged me since we've been exchanging works for the last 9 months. I stopped trying to get his attention and then he texted me and apologized. Ugh. Me being so dumb, I forgave him. Girl, we didn't even kiss or hug or anything. Anything. I gave him money for his phone, which was $250. Why did you do that? Why did you do that, Miss Ma'am? I bought this man clothes when he got home too. A few days later, I had to take my son to get his tonsils removed. While he was in surgery, I was on FaceTime with the garbage and my son's father. I put father like that because he barely does anything for him. But that's for another story time. Laugh a lot. But he was sitting beside me. So Basura had a white t-shirt around his neck, which I didn't think anything of it because he does that. When his t-shirt was taking off around his neck, girl, I was like, what the f is on your neck? And then he said it was his tattoo. Lex, this man had a hickey the size of a quarter on his neck. Like I said, we did not do anything. Mommy, why were you paying for his clothes and the phone? Please tell me. Like I said, we did not do anything. He then walked away from the camera and I kept telling him to come back to the camera and I guess he was nervous because he was laughing. Ooh, Once he showed his face, I confirmed it was a hickey and I hung up on him and blocked his number. Yes. Girl, I was in the hospital room crying with my other baby daddy next to me. You know how embarrassing that is? Hello, I'm sorry. Girl, the story does not stop there. It gets even juicier. He was calling me and texting me from different numbers. After a few days, I caved in so I could hear what he had to say. Oh. I was apologizing and I proceeded to ask why. He said because that girl was holding me down before I came to the picture. Red flag, and that he would completely cut her off. I was not an option. I told him to do whatever he wants, but I will not be an option to no one. For those few days, he was kissing mi culo, and I forgave him like a dumbass. One day, I left work early and met up with him at his place to give him something, but then it got intimate. After that, I received a text from my abusive ex asking about my kids. I don't talk to this man, so I was confused, but Basura saw the message and started yelling at me like if I was in the wrong. Look how orange you look, first of all. Second of all, I got color matched, and the girl kept saying, no, this is it, this is it. This is clearly not it. Hold on, girl. We're going to get back to your story. Just let me remove this real quick. He starts yelling at me like if I was in the wrong. He would not let me leave the room until he was done fighting. I cried with fear because of the flashbacks of my abusive relationship. I'm so sorry, love. He let me leave after that. I know I wasn't in the wrong. He then called and tried to apologize. I forgave him. A few days later, after I received a FaceTime from his best friend, which I was puzzled, I answered and he asked me if I knew where Basura was at. I told him no, and that he proceeds to say that he knows he stole his credit card to use to buy things. Ooh. So he just grimy. He got no loyalty to nadie. Okay. Because I know boys are always like, oh, that's my boy, that's my dog. So they tend to be more loyal to each other, but whatever. I said I didn't know about any of this. He told me, you know what? I don't care if you tell him I told you this, but do you know he's been messaging with a girl named Alex? Through this whole time you were talking to him, she was visiting him in jail the same times you were, and she was giving him money too. And before you started talking to him, she was pregnant with his child too. But she later then lost it. I was in shock. He then told me, ask him about Alex and watch how his face changes. When he said that, I received a FaceTime from Basura. I answered so quickly and he was asking me what I was doing and I said nothing, but I went straight to the question, so who's Alex? So the Charlie Tilbury didn't work, so I'm gonna go with my Kat Von D, my KVD. His face changed and he said, oh, some girl I used to mess with. Girl, I was so mad. I was like, no, it's a girl you've been messaging this whole time and we was messing and you're still messing her? He then proceeded to say that she was holding him down and he couldn't just leave her like that. Did the mom know? Did the mom know? We got into a huge ass argument. I hung up on him and he proceeded to text me stupid things. But this one thing he said hit me in my heart. He said, I deserved what my ex did to me. I blocked him from there. I know I didn't deserve to be treated the way he did, but I wanted a daughter to grow with both parents. I forgave him again. Ooh, We continued to mess with each other, but then we came to the conclusion that we can be friends with benefits, but not with each other. So I started to see other people, and so has he. But he was so jealous when I started to get close to one guy. He called me one day and started saying that he should have stayed with me and all that, but I told him it was too late. I cut ties with him. He barely saw his daughter, and he told me that she wasn't his. Oh my God, how annoying. So I let that be and fell in love with this guy I've been seeing, and we've been in a relationship for about 3 years. Hell yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. He's raising both kids and his own, which I appreciate so much. Basura is currently incarcerated again. I do not talk to him, and he has no communication with his daughter. Girl is currently pregnant with this child, and recently his mother passed away. That's so sad. I would love to shout out his mother for not condoning his behavior, inviting me with open arms with family, and always calling me her daughter no matter what. Moral of the story, don't keep forgiving people that hurt you, because they will continue to walk all over you. Yes. He or she will always come back, and it's beneficial to them because they know you will take them back with open arms. You deserve better. It's okay to have your guards up, but don't have them too low, because not everyone can be trusted. Remember, the devil once was an angel. Yes. I feel like we always think the devil's going to be ugly, but he's not. He's one of God's favorite angels. Thank you, Lex, for taking the time out of your day reading my long story time. I will be sending you more story times about my crazy life. Te quiero mucho. Besitos a tu familia. Love you. Thank you so much for sending in your story time. So my story is fairly recent. I guess a year or long or so. Anywho, I got married, but last year things just seemed off. Hubby seemed distant, more short with me, just checked out. I thought it was us working a lot and not having enough time for each other or me. I started questioning my body or thinking something was wrong with me. This man was a sweet, loving gentleman. A man who treated me so good. We have no kids, and we spent our time together in tune with each other. So when his mood changed up a bit, it was weird. I asked him a few things if he was okay, thinking maybe he was going through something. I even asked him at my lowest if it was me. He said no, it wasn't, and that everything was fine, but my gut told me otherwise. I hate the gut feeling. I really, really do. I had a feeling off about it. So one day I was home alone, and this old phone, music phone he had, was charging. Something told me to look in it. It was not even an activated phone, so only could be used on Wi-Fi. He had messages on there on social sites to random with porn looking pictures. I, of course, confronted him, but hours of talking, crying, and arguing, we decided to work on us, and he says he never cheated physically, but it's still cheating to me. I did leave for a week to clear my head, but we had conditions, passwords to everything exchanged, new promises, and communication. So after that, he was my love again, as same as before. He just seemed to be back to his loving, caring self after all the lovey-dovey. Mind you, I still had this off feeling. I just thought, well, it must be because the trust was broken, trying to rationalize it away. Fast forward to months later, December, he was sick, like weak, unable to really walk, and I rushed him to the ER. Come to find out he had COVID and all bad that comes with that. Ooh. Also tested while waiting for my results. I had his phone. I was going to text his boss and noticed other messages from his coworker. Let's call her Froggy. I went to the convo they were having. She was asking him to try out some condoms with her, and it could be like old times. Let's just let her know what's up. His stupid ass replied, when? She was like almost begging him, asking him when his next shift was, and he told her. My heart dropped. It broke. It felt like. I found out I had COVID too. I had no symptoms. I just cried. The doctor thought I was crying out of fear of COVID. He reassured me and told me I would be fine. Many people overcome it. Little did he know I was crying for different reasons. I was allowed to be in the same room. I was sitting at the end of his bed, him hooked up to the IVs, just looking at him teary-eyed, holding his phone. He was looking at me, and it looked as if he knew I had seen. The nurse and doctor left the room. I told him, how could you? You've been lying to me. I told him, shall I call her to be by your bedside instead? He denied it. He even tried to get out of bed while hooked up. Being the good person I am, I talked him back down. Told him to get better. As nurses walked in and out checking on him, I just sat there texting my bestie, his brother, they are a couple, and our close friend of ours. I also screenshot the messages and sent them to them. My circle is small, so they were in disbelief. I held it together until they were helping him. He ended up needing to be kept there. Mind you, Christmas was like a day away. Oh. Things always come out when you're not trying to find anything and you're just like chilling. I spent Christmas quarantined alone. Him in the hospital. My phone died. Him in the hospital, me worried, mad, sad, just broken. Being alone, I went into the FBI mode. I found other messages and pictures and just kind of spiraled alone. Oh, I loved him and still he did that. I know. I talked with my inner circle who were there for me. He eventually got out a couple days later, still weak, but okay to come home. I picked him up. We had COVID, so it was just us. We quarantined together. I nursed him back to health. Henry talks about it. I needed to know it all. He did open up to some, but not all. I found out later. Do you hate that? The nerve. If he didn't get COVID and have to be stuck alone together, I don't think I would be still married. God's plan for reals. We got better. 2 weeks later, we knew we needed help with us. So our friends, another couple, came over, counseled us. January 10th, the full truth came out. He slept with his co-worker. Yeah, shocker, I knew it. But hearing it out loud, him saying it, and other female co-workers he was entertaining, he was basically the work boy. I didn't know this man. He begged and he cried and said I was everything, and he still wanted to be married. During counseling, all this came out. It really opened a can of worms. He confessed to it, happening months before and stopped, but she, Froggy, was trying to start again. He says he got addicted to the attention from other females and porn. After all the hard truth, and I don't know where, but God, I found strength. I hurt for you. After that hard truth, and I don't know, still on recovery road today. He always had a good heart for others, and he prays with me and is his loving, silly self. He's porn free today, but he still struggles with his thoughts. Addiction sucks, whatever form it's in. I know he's not a bad person, but made some bad, awful choices. He no longer works there. He's made big changes. Communication is way better about what he's doing because he knows I need it right now. He's also not stupid. I have no trust, but we have boundaries, and still going through counseling. I don't have all the answers, but I'm still married and he still wants to be too. So recovery road it is. My faith in great ladies in my life and his change keep me on recovery road. Pray for all. Oh, you got my heart. You got my heart. You got my heart. And he is one lucky man. Swear to God. Because he's lucky. He's lucky. Thank you so much for being so vulnerable and sharing with me. I truly, truly appreciate it. Te quiero mucho. Besitos. I love you. I love you. He cheated on me with his cousin. Why is there so many cousins? Like, for real. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand. Bitch, I don't understand. I don't. Girl, do I have a story time for y'all. First, I just want to say thank you so much for your videos. I've been watching your channel for a few years now, and they truly brighten up my days. Oh, thank you so much. Okay, so basically, back when I was about 16, I met this guy. We call him Josh. He was 17. We both lived with our parents at the time. We had been dating for a while when his mom introduces him to his cousin that he never met before. She said his cousin was going to be in town for a few weeks and staying at their house. So here's the whole story and how it starts. At one point, I didn't have Wi-Fi at my house, and I didn't have texting or data on my phone. I see. Broke girl problems. That's what she said. He would just mostly stay at my house. Then one day rolls around and he was planning on going home for the night. He would come back the next day. So for us to be able to communicate, he had the idea that we would trade phones for the night because he had data on his phone and he could use my phone at his house because he had Wi-Fi. So he goes home and everything was good. The next day, girl, him and I were Facebook messaging and he was telling me that he would be on his way to my house soon. We didn't live far from each other, so he was biking. Then all of a sudden his phone gets a text from his cousin. Remember, I have his phone. The text said, "You're going to your girlfriend's house with those hickeys on your neck? Question mark. My heart literally sank. I didn't even know what to think, so I just replied to her saying, "Hickeys? Way to blow my own cover." She replied with, "Nothing, never mind." And I text her back saying, hickeys from who? She replied, ma, never mind. I just left it and waited for him to get to the house so I could see myself. I went outside and he just got to my house with his shirt collar hiding his neck. I moved his collar and sure enough, there was hickeys. I gave him his phone and took mine. I told him we're done and went inside so heartbroken. I cried and I cried. I still had no idea who the hickeys came from. Later that night, he showed up to my house crying, apologizing, saying he went to a party and blacked out, got drunk, couldn't remember what happened. So eventually I gave him another chance. I see. I know. I was young and dumb. So anyways, a week goes by and we're hanging at my house. We decided to go spend the night at his mom's house. So she came to pick us up. In her car, his mom and his cousin. This was my first time meeting his cousin, but no one really talked much on the ride. Once we got to his mom's, we all got out of the car. Me and the cousin looked at each other and I smiled at her. And she looked at me up and down with her stank face. I didn't think much of it. I was just like, okay, whatever. Some girls are just bitches like that, I guess. I know what you mean. It's just like, for what? Just say you're pretty and see what they say. But then all day, she just had an attitude. She would come barging in his room, look for something or trying to get mad at him. I was just like, what's up with her? Then later that night, me and him were talking and I asked him, just please tell me what happened that night he cheated. I asked him, please don't lie to me. Finally, he admitted that that night that him and his cousin hooked up. I was in shock. I never expected that. That's why she had such an attitude. I broke up with him and I wish I could say for good. But like I said, I was young and dumb. I stayed with him for a few years. Te pasas, dude. Oh my God. Until I left for good. It ended up being the most toxic, abusive that I ever have been in. I'm so sorry. But that's my story. Thanks for reading. If you made it to the end of this, I didn't think the story was going to be so long. Anyways, I wanted to add that your videos always give me good vibes I need in my day. Oh, thank you, love. And also, I can relate so much to your stories. We grew up in similar situations. Much love. Thank you so much for sharing. I love you. I love you. That was a good one. That was a good one. See, there's a lot of cousin bars. My ex cheated on me with his cousins. What is up with this? What is up? Que cochinos. Hey Alexis, love your channel. I have a story time for you to share about my ex and how he cheated on me with not one, but 2 cousins. If you have to change it up for YouTube, feel free. So it starts when we first got together. We were in that phase where you always are together. After a month, I missed going out with my friends or my favorite cousins, who I call my brothers. He just always wanted to stay at the house. I really had no place to stay. That should have been the first red flag. So after a month of being with him, I needed a break. He mentioned his cousin wanted to come over and chill. I saw this as my opportunity. I told him she could come over and I could go to the movies with my brother cousin. He agreed. The way me and my ex were raised, your first cousin is your sibling. También over here too. So this cousin coming over would be his sister. Yes. Let me know if anyone else does that, because like I totally know what you mean. His cousin was younger and lived an hour away. She took the bus to our part of town and I picked her up. However, when I picked her up, he didn't want to go. I thought weird because I never met her or really knew what she looked like besides her Facebook picture. His excuse was he was going to clean. So I picked her up with my brother so we could leave after. Okay, I already know. Okay. We both say hellos and make small talk. She seems nice. I just got a weird feeling like he was going to mess around with her. Ooh, that gut feeling is crazy. We drop her off and I head out. The first thing my brother says, what if they messed around when we're gone? We talked about it and he said the same. It's his cousin and he wouldn't do that. My brother says, stop at my grandpa's to get soda. Well, get the soda too, bring it back to them. He says, what if you walked in on them? My thoughts exactly. Now when I drove up, I didn't sneak in quietly. I came in normal. They were both on the couch watching movie, smoking. They had a wide distance between themselves, so I thought, I'm tripping. Never doubt your gut. Never. Okay? Never. We left for the movie. I didn't remember the movie as the thought of them together in my house kept bothering me. All I remember is the ending. We go back, pick her up, and take her and my brother home. When I Get back home, I clean up. I see goldfish deep in the cushions, but not on top. I ask and he says they spilled them. Months go by, I get a hold of his phone. I see messages from her. I read it and discover that they did mess around and he's been asking if she liked it. They joke about the goldfish spilling everywhere and they were doing. I was livid. I confronted him, telling him he's sick. That's his sister. We fight. He ends up manipulating me into forgiving him. She wasn't the only message, but according to him, she was the only one he messed with. I believed him, as it was months ago. At that time, I got a hold of the phone. He was bad in his diabetes. When his sugar was high, he couldn't get up. The other woman messages didn't come when he could do something, only after. He said he was insecure and not being able to, and after talking to women helped. Looking back, I don't know why I let it go, but I did. He also said he would block that cousin. Time goes on, same thing happens, tons of women interested, or he plans to meet, but none he actually did. He had a way with words is why I forgave him and allowed it to go on. While this happens, I give up hope. I allow myself to think I am worthless and just allow everything to happen. So down the line, when I'm down in the dumps, that cousin is blocked, another comes up. She's fresh out of prison. Gorgeous. He even shows me her picture in admiration. I say she's pretty. That triggers him as a go ahead and talk to her. He does. I had no idea at the time. These girls are sisters. What the fuck? He mentions me meeting her and her mother. I agree, but it's a while before we do. In fact, he meets cousin number 2 before I meet her. How I know it's during my depression, I let my car go. I always kept a clean car, and at the time, I littered with fast food cups, wrappers, all that. One day he picks me up from work and I notice it's clean. I thought that's nice. I noticed he just picked up the floor, not the items under the seat. Of course, when I mention it, I'm told I don't appreciate nothing, and it starts an argument. I get a hold of his phone again and see that they have been trying to meet up and mess around. Only this one is a bit smarter. She's asking for stuff in exchange, and of course he delivers. Of course I paid for the stuff not knowing it's for her. This is why the car was cleaned. It all went down in the car. Apparently the laundry room at the apartment complex was unavailable. I finally get to my breaking point and end it. I even get a restraining order. He comes back, apologizes, and so does his aunt and the one I'm supposed to meet. I honestly think she didn't want him at the house, which is why she brought him to apologize. And like an idiot, I accepted it. Cousin number 2 is there trying to be nice, and it's our first time meeting. We get a brief moment where I tell her I know, and I let her know that her little sister did it too. Her face changes and she did not speak. Her mother hears us talking and sees the intensity. She keeps demanding I tell her what was said. The aunt is saying she will get mad at whoever. The aunt is actually on my side. I tell her about cousin number 1, but don't about number 2. As he came walking in, I got scared. They leave shortly after without talking about it with me. Cousin number 2 is on the phone texting him saying everything I said. She's mad. He's mad. I take a beating, but honestly, that was one I don't regret. I knew the beating was coming, but his family knowing how it is and the cousins seeing how stupid they were enough for me. I don't know if that makes me toxic or what, but it had to be shared. We eventually broke up for good. There are more stories just like this one. Sometimes when I hear your story times, I hear those feelings of anxiety and how you freeze, tense up, or you can't think. I go back, but I am thankful. Thankful that I am not where I used to be and how much I have now. You need to allow yourself to reflect on your past. You can't bury it. Your story times allow us to go back safely and know we're not alone. Thank you for sharing your stories. It's allowed me to be comfortable with my past and reflect. You have improved my mental health in so many ways. Many blessings to you. Sincerely, FAMBAM. Thank you, love. I love you. I love you, and I'm so glad you're out of the mess. That is so crazy. So we got a bunch of cousins up in here. Disgusting. I don't care if y'all didn't grow up together. I don't care. That is disgusting. Don't do that. That is gross. Ew. There's like so many people. You got girlfriends. You got wives. There's so many people out in this world, and you're attracted to someone that looks like you. Just look in the mirror. Anyways, thank you guys so much for sharing your guys' story times with me. If you guys want to share your own story time, make sure to send me an email and maybe yours will be picked for our story time. Get ready with me. I love you guys. Besos a todos. If you guys enjoy story times, please make sure to give me a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already to keep updating my videos, and let me know what you guys think about the look. I really, really, really love how this one came out. Like, I love browns. I love browns. I feel like they make me feel just so me. This freaking, I feel like I played with my bangs too much that they're bothering me. Does that ever happen where you feel like you overplayed with them? But anyways, the palette I feel like is so freaking cute, like so beautiful, and I feel like it really did like the look how I wanted. And I really love how this like pink nude, beautiful. I hope you guys enjoyed. Bye.